Good morning everybody, it's Jason here on my Digging for Antigua project. Haven't done a video for a few days, so this is a bit of a major update. Hopefully it'll be interesting to everybody. It's Thursday the 23rd of April and it's actually day 35 of my project. So we've been doing it for over a month now, well over a month. So let me show you what we've been up to. I have ever more seedlings out in the grow zone. So there's some, and there are the rest of them. I've still got quite a lot in the garage. Some of these seedlings are going to be planted out into the grow zone today. So I spent yesterday and the day before working on my plan of where I'm going to plant them and how I'm going to mix the species. There's a few cars going past us today. The regulations for our lockdown were relaxed yesterday, so now people can go out between 6 and 6. Here we can see some squash plants that were planted right back on the 20th of March, one of the first things that I ever did on this project. But this is going to get planted out, as is this sweet corn and some of these onions and sweet potatoes, of course, of which I've got far too many. These ones here are watermelons. They're probably going to get split. Some of them are still doubles and then left a little bit longer before they go out. Some of these tomatoes I'm probably going to plant out today. Again, these cantaloupes are going to be left probably split later today, and then when I've got these extra other pots back from these other plants I've planted out, I'll split these and leave them out here for a little bit longer before they go out. Again, more sweet potatoes. These herbs are going to go out. These are thyme, that's oregano, and then these sweet potatoes as well. These here are the pumpkins. You can see they need a bit of watering. I'll do that before I plant anything out. And some of these herbs are actually growing pretty well. These basils, I might split some of those today. There's parsley there, and then this is peppermint. The lettuces, I think I might leave them out here for a bit longer. Same with the kale, and there's some coriander there. I'm just going to leave that. These are some watermelons. You see these ones have suffered quite badly from some insect damage. I'm hoping that the centres are still okay and that they're going to recover. These are running spinach. I think I might plant some of those out. I'm not really sure what running spinach is. Maybe it's a local name for something else, but not quite sure what it is. But I think I'm going to plant some of those out as well. And obviously the rosemary's going to go out as well. Some of these peppers are going out, and these ones are cucumbers, so they're probably going to go out as well. Just a quick look at how well this passion fruit is doing, which is so far the only thing that's actually been planted in the grow zone. Since I planted it, it's done really, really well. You can see all this new growth here, very vigorous, and there's also leaves sprouting up on the other side of the fence. So that one's doing really well. Hopefully all the other vegetables do as well as that. Quick update on what the state of the seedlings in the garage is. Most of these ones that I planted fairly recently haven't really done a great deal. The exception being one of the zucchinis I planted has come up. These are a yellow variety, so I'm looking forward to that one growing. These are some of the seedlings. These are cucumbers from that Chinese, one of those Chinese kits. These are fruit that were planted just from a fruit we bought at the store. They've all come up really, really well. A lot of the seeds that I've gathered from fruits have germinated at very high rates, which isn't entirely surprising, I suppose. Whether or not they produce fruit, who knows, but they're doing very, very well. The onions are still going. These are peppers that were planted on the 20th of March, actually coming on pretty strongly now. I planted out some of the coriander from the big pot. The dill's doing well. I'm going to replant coriander and dill directly into the plot outside today and see how well it does planted straight into the ground. These are the pepper seedlings, 6 different varieties. Clearly doing very well. They'll need potting on and growing on a little bit before they go in the ground. I'm not going to put them in the ground when they're spindly like that. They're doing pretty well though. Some of the beetroot's still going, lost a couple more than previously, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 or 8. There was one there as well. Just a quick look at the plan that I've come up with for planting out various crops in the various different plots that we've got. So these are all inside the grow zone. See the long thin strip at the top, which is lining the road. Then the other 5 plots of slightly varying sizes. They look more or less the same in the garden, but they're actually quite different, a little bit different anyway. And then this new side plot. So the starting at the bottom left, the side plot's going to be mainly pumpkin, squash, and some sweet potatoes. Now, it's a little bit controversial, and I'm planting probably at higher densities than would be recommended if you had a commercial farm. I'm also mixing vining species together, which is not necessarily right, but the whole idea of this is that the pumpkins, the squash, and on the top left and bottom sides will spill over into the areas of the garden that have not been dug. So the roots will be in the dug area, and then the actual plants will predominantly be either, you know, to the above, to the left, or to the bottom of that cutout square. So the sweet potatoes are going to colonize the main central area of that growing area and then spill over to the right hand side as well. So this is my idea. So it's a mix between intensive square foot gardening philosophy and traditional philosophy. Again, I'm not an expert, so maybe I'm getting this wrong. Then we'll look at these other plots. The top plot is clearly going to be melons, so a mixture of watermelon and cantaloupe. I'm giving them plenty of space. The cantaloupes are going to climb up the fence lining the front of the garden, and the watermelons essentially spread out. And then going to the right hand side, that's going to be my sweet corn patch with some squash interspersed in there and spilling out to the right hand side. Also some lettuces and some onions planted quite intensively. Cucumbers and other vining plants planted on this near side wall here, well, not wall, fence. So they're going to climb up the fence that I put in to keep the dogs out. Then the next bed here is a mixture of peppers, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, kale at the top, some more onions, and the squash, when that finally goes, I've left room for one squash plant there. And then the left-hand bed, the bed that just on the right as you go in the gate, is going to be herbs. So there's a number of different herbs there. Obviously the passion fruit's climbing up that fence at that bottom side. There's also a variety of other herbs in there, and I've got some space, as you can see, for other plants as and when. It's about 3 o'clock now. I've been out here for a few hours. I'm getting pretty hot, and I think I need a break and something to eat. Cup of tea. Just thought I'd show you how I've laid things out. So I've spent the morning and the early afternoon digging over the garden again and fertilising it with a chemical fertiliser to increase the nitrogen plus other minerals for initial growth. And I've laid out the plants that I'm going to plant today. So here we have sweet potatoes, pumpkins and squash. This is the herb garden. The remaining seedlings. And then this is essentially a Greek salad garden. So this is tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers and onions. Obviously not olives or feta cheese. You can't really buy feta cheese plants in Antigua. Maybe in Europe you can. And then right at the other end down over there is my sweet corn patch with a couple of squash plants in between that. So I'm going to wait a couple of hours till it gets a little bit cooler, and then I'm going to plant all these things and water them in.
We're out here in the grow zone. It is Thursday afternoon, and some very exciting things are going on here. Jason's actually planting in the beds that he's prepared. So he's working now on the sweet corn. So we'll just take a look. He's digging little holes there and planting them and planting them. Of course, we've got a little bit of a debate going on in the background on the radio. Obviously, it wouldn't be.
Got Bart Ehrman talking about the books of the New Testament.
Of course, right. So,
obviously.
yeah, obviously.
Doesn't everybody, when they're working in the garden,
No.
listen to lectures about the New Testament?
No.
Okay, so I'm planting these corns here. I just wanted to show you how I'm planting them. I don't know whether it's the right thing to do, but it's what I'm doing. And the reason why I potted these on and didn't plant them when they were tiny little seedlings. So this is one of the corn plants, for example. You can see they've got quite good root balls in there. And essentially what I'm doing is I just push them out. So I just put a bit of pressure on there and then gently allow the plant to come out without trying to disturb those roots too much. Some of those roots are going back in again. So it's really good root balls. And all this soil here is really nice soil. This soil, on the other hand, is, even though I've improved it and I've had dug compost in and other things, it's very dry and it's quite a lot of clay in it. So the idea is that this has got something at least to grip onto when I first plant it out. I don't know if grip onto is the complete technical gardening term, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just sort of shoving it in the ground like that, and then it's got all this compost there, so the plant can probably survive in that root ball for a few days while it starts to grow roots out through into the ground. And also I won't have to water the whole ground initially because most of the roots are in that root ball. So that's my theory. I don't know whether it's true or not. See, it's not exactly full head height here. It's like living on the boat, actually. Or that attic flat in Oxford, remember that?
Oh God, yeah. So we'll leave Jason to it.
Yeah, see you later.